Welcome to another issue of Chamber Minute. The 2012 legislative session just wrapped up, and it was yet another successful year for North Carolina's business community. Your chamber worked on a number of initiatives which we think will have long-term positive impact for our state. Education reform, energy security, regulatory reform, and corporate tax predictability and fairness. We had strong bipartisan support from the legislature and a unified business community working on a number of these issues to be successful during the short session. We think it will strengthen North Carolina's business climate and make our state even more competitive and attractive for business, as we intend to get more serious about attracting and growing jobs. In the area of education and talent development, the Chamber's been working to move forward the education priorities of the organization to make North Carolina a leading state for talent development. We're pleased that several of your priorities and our priorities made it into legislation this year and actually were enacted into law. So now issues like focusing on early learning and reading proficiency by the 3rd grade is now the law of the state. Ways to make lateral entry for individuals that want to move from the private sector into teaching easier to happen now can happen in our state. And another $5 million being invested in North Carolina Back to Work program, which helps to address the long-term unemployment issue in our state. Energy security, making sure that we have an all-the-above energy strategy in place in our state is now possible with the passage of Clean Energy and Economic Security Act. This legislation will allow for the economic benefits which will accrue from hydraulic fracking while putting regulatory standards in place that make sure it's done safely and effectively. Regulatory reform. You've told us that red tape is a major impediment to growing your business, and with 15,000 new rules put in place in the last decade, we can understand why. We made progress this year eliminating more of that red tape from your company. With the passage of an air toxics program, we now have reforms that now have your company complying with not a state and federal program, but just a federal program. And finally, in the area of corporate tax predictability and fairness, tax policy, as you know, is de facto economic policy. We made some important changes around issues like forced combination returns, tax extensions for incentives, and prohibiting contingency fees on audits. So in general, a positive session for business. The elections are upon us. We'll be in touch with you soon about how you can help us there. But obviously very excited about 2013 and moving a proactive pro-business agenda at the General Assembly. Thanks so much for your support.